Linda Kozlowski was a struggling actress when she snagged a role alongside Paul Hogan in Crocodile Dundee.
Linda Kozlowski and Paul Hogan were the perfect couple on screen and off screen. Everyone talked about them and the situation that brought them together. A lot happened, which eventually led to their marriage and divorce. But something else happened. Paul put on a surprising behavior that made Linda skeptical about him. As the cameras rolled, Paul's charm and charisma shone brightly. Yet there were moments when his demeanor shifted, revealing a side that made Linda question the foundations of their relationship. So, what happened on the Crocodile Dundee set? Let's take a look at what Linda said about Paul's behavior before and after filming, and his interesting controversies. Life before Crocodile Dundee. Linda's early beginnings. So, let's go into the early beginnings of Linda Kozlowski. She was born on the 7th of July, 1958, and she grew up in a very impressive Polish-American family in the beautiful town of Fairfield, Connecticut. Her parents, Helen E. and Stanley M. Kozlowski, played a huge role in shaping her early life, and she always appreciated them for being there for her. Linda got her education through the local school system and eventually graduated from Andrew Ward High School in Connecticut. Linda made her debut in the world of theater with an off-Broadway production called How It All Began during the 1981 to 1982 season. It was a great achievement for her, but that was just the beginning. She later went to the bright lights of Broadway, where she played the role of Miss Forsyth in the classic play titled Death of a Salesman, based on the popular play with the same title by Arthur Miller. Her acting talent became so bright that she reprised the same role in the film adaptation, which was released in 1985. After that, she boldly took a big step and decided to go to the prestigious Juilliard School, where she trained her acting skills in the drama division. She finished with her studies there in 1981 to take on the world of performing arts. Isn't it fascinating that her journey started in a small town and led her to one of the most popular schools for actors? Linda continued working on herself until she truly hit the jackpot in 1986, when she got the female lead in the legendary Australian film titled Crocodile Dundee, where she performed alongside the charming actor Paul Hogan. Like other incredible couples in movies, their chemistry on-screen and off-screen was quite obvious. And it didn't take long for it to blossom into a serious romance off-screen, which added an exciting twist to their performance. Her performance as Sue Charlton was so beautiful and impressive that in 1987 she earned a Golden Globe nomination in the category of Best Supporting Actress. That recognition put her in the newspapers and everyone's lips, and just 2 years later, she returned to the role in Crocodile Dundee 2, which further cemented her place in movie history. After the Crocodile Dundee series, 1988 was a busy year for Linda. She starred with amazing actors like Bill Paxton, Tim Curry, and Annie Potts in the comedy titled Pass the Ammo. And she also appeared in the TV miniseries Favorite Son. It was an exciting time in her career, basically filled with interesting opportunities and projects. Before diving into the full details, let's briefly examine how Linda and Paul's famous relationship began, their marriage, and their divorce. We still have much to unravel. The spark between Linda and Paul during the set. Crocodile Dundee is one of the most renowned Australian films ever, but beyond just its legacy and the storyline, one of the most interesting aspects is the sweet romance that sparked between its main stars, Paul Hogan and Linda. It all started when they filmed the movie in 1986, and at that time, Paul was still married to his first wife, Noeline Edwards. Their love story started way back in 1958 at a Sydney swimming pool, where Paul was working as a lifeguard before he became the famous actor we know today. He got married to Noeline when he was just 19, and they had 5 children together. However, the couple had a complex relationship, as they were married for over 20 years but went through a separation and divorce in 1981. Interestingly, they remarried a year later, as they showcased the complexities of their long history together. This backstory adds an intriguing layer to the interesting love story that unfolded on screen during the making of Crocodile Dundee. By the time the movie came out, Paul had already been a household name because of the memorable performances on The Paul Hogan Show and his funny sketches on a current affair. But it all changed when Crocodile Dundee hit the screens, and it took him to new heights of fame in the United States. The film, which tells the story of a crocodile hunter from the Australian outback navigating life in America, turned out to be one of the biggest hits of 1986 and through the next decade. It captured audiences with its charm and fun. In the movie, Linda played the role of Sue Charlton, a travel reporter from New York City. The chemistry between her character and Paul's was electric, and the most interesting part is that it didn't stop there. It got translated into a real-life romance off-screen. After meeting Linda, Paul decided to leave Noeline, and their relationship quickly started developing. Linda, who is about 20 years younger than Paul, became a significant part of his life. Later on, Noeline revealed that she and Paul did not communicate for 17 years following their breakup, which made Paul's past even more complicated. However, Linda also had her own history, as she was married before. However, by 1990, she and Paul decided to tie the knot despite all odds, strengthening their bond and confirming the rumors flying around. In an interview with a renowned news magazine named 60 Minutes, Linda shared her thoughts on their relationship, saying, "He's great as a husband. He's great to live with. It's more interesting to be with an Australian man because American men are easier to mold." She said this to express not just her affection for Paul, but also the unique dynamics of their relationship. It was absolutely clear that their connection went beyond just acting. It was a partnership filled with love and excitement. Paul once said that he was a romantic kind of guy, and he truly backed it up. He reportedly gifted Linda a stunning mansion that he had custom-built just for her as a wedding present, a truly grand gesture. In the years that followed Crocodile Dundee, the couple continued to light up the screen together in films like Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles and Almost an Angel. Their chemistry was undeniable, both on and off screen. In 1998, their family grew when Linda and Paul welcomed their only child, a son named Chance. With motherhood becoming her main focus, Linda shared in interviews that she didn't feel the urge to return to acting after having Chance. It was clear that she found immense joy in her new role as a mom, prioritizing family over her career in the spotlight. Linda reflected on a pivotal moment in her life, saying, "I was about to turn 40 and just wanted to have a baby. Time was running out, and I was really miserable in the last 2 jobs I'd done. Now, at 43 years old, I have a baby, and I'm happy and content. I've reached a point in my life where I'm at peace and have moved past all that." For many years, their family of 3 enjoyed a happy life together, creating memories and cherishing their time as a unit. However, in late 2013, the couple shocked the world by making a surprising announcement. After 23 years of marriage, Paul and Linda were separating. This marked the end of an era, leaving fans and friends speculating about their long journey together. Linda revealed in one of her interviews that she was the one who filed for divorce, expressing a desire to reclaim her individuality without Paul by her side. She shared with the Sydney Morning Herald, "I lived in Paul's shadow for many, many years, and it's nice to feel my own light right now. Honestly, we just naturally grew apart. One of our problems was that we really had nothing in common, and over time, that happens to a lot of people." In the divorce settlement, Paul retained all rights to his beloved Crocodile Dundee character and the film company, while Linda walked away with a substantial one-time payment of around $6 million. Interestingly, neither of them was obligated to pay child or spousal support, and they maturely agreed to share custody of their son, Chance. It was a significant turning point for both of them, marking a new chapter in their lives that they didn't see coming. Paul echoed Linda's sentiments, reflecting on how their differences initially drew them together. He noted, "We were opposites, and we were attracted to each other for a long time. Opposites in everything, from the food we ate, the music we liked, the entertainment we enjoyed, the colors, the clothes, the places, everything. It worked for a while. We had 20 wonderful years. though the last 2 or 3 felt a bit worn out. His perspective on their relationship explained how relationships could have their natural, unpredictable cycles. When it came to calling their marriage a failed one, Paul and Linda firmly disagreed. He believed it wouldn't be fair to define it that way because they had shared many successful years together. He pointed out that the traditional notion of "till death do us part" does not necessarily apply to everyone, highlighting that relationships can evolve and change over time. Paul made a sincere remark. "I'm very flighty. Most women last about a quarter of a century with me before they get bored. How can you fail after a quarter of a century?" Failed marriages are when 2 people stay together even though they've long lost interest. His perspective about their relationship explained how relationships could have their natural cycles that cannot be predicted. Despite their separation, Paul and Linda maintained a friendly relationship and continued to co-parent their son, Chance. Linda described their divorce as completely amicable, highlighting that they still had a healthy connection. "We talk on the phone all the time, and I go over and have coffee. We're completely friendly. Everybody's happy," she said, adding that they both held their son's well-being with high importance. When asked about the criticism he faced for leaving his first wife for someone 19 years younger, Paul acknowledged that it all made sense in hindsight. He seemed to appreciate the journey they had both taken, stating the fact that life often unfolds in unexpected ways. Paul explained in a recent interview that the situation was inevitable, explaining the trajectory of his relationship with Linda. He likened it to what's often referred to in the movies as shipboard romances, where the chemistry between leading actors is intense but ultimately fleeting. You never fall in love with your leading man or leading lady. It won't last. And they're right. After about 20 years, it wears off. Their relationship was beautiful to their fans and anyone who cared to know. But after their breakup, people stopped caring about the relationship because another issue bothered them, which was what Paul went through during their marriage and after their divorce, which got his name on everyone's lips. Let's dive into the controversies of the legendary Paul Hogan. Paul's career-wrecking controversies. Aside from being a very good actor and getting married to Linda before their divorce, there has been quite a number of things that got his name in the headlines, from small talks by the media to the controversies. For 7 years, from February 2003 until all charges were finally dropped in November 2010, Paul found himself deep in a complex and deep series of legal troubles as an agency named the Australian Taxation Office, ATO, investigated him for alleged tax evasion. This period brought significant media attention, especially since he was a renowned actor, and when he was publicly named as part of a very broad investigation known as Operation Wickenby in 2007. This operation scrutinized a staggering $300 million Australian dollar tax fraud scheme which involved 23 companies accused of using overseas entities to conceal income. As the investigation progressed, he maintained he was innocent of all the allegations. In July 2008, he spoke to Network 10, asserting that he had paid a lot of taxes in Australia and made his thoughts clear that he had nothing to fear from the ATO. His comments showed a sense of confidence in the midst of the swirling investigations and scrutiny as he made a decision to distance himself from the accusations linked to the operation. The whole saga lasted for several years, with the legal issues weighing heavily on Paul as he tried to navigate the complications of the Australian tax system and the perception of the public which surrounded his case. After some years of uncertainty, they dropped the charges leveled against him, allowing him to move forward without the cloud of legal troubles hanging over him. In October 2008, he achieved a very important victory in his ongoing tax battle with the Australian Crime Commission, ACC. The ACC was ordered to pay up to an estimated $5 million Australian dollars in legal fees dating back to 2006, and they also required them to return personal financial documents that they had seized but later admitted were irrelevant to the case. Notably, he had not been charged in connection with the investigation, which had been ongoing since 2003. One would think this is the end of the whole drama, But the legal landscape shifted dramatically on the 18th of June, 2010, when he faced a setback once again in the Australian High Court. He lost a legal argument which aimed at keeping the details of his tax documents confidential. This meant that information about his offshore accounts was now subject to public release. Earlier that year, there were many reports that the AC was getting close to the completion of their preparations to lay criminal charges of tax evasion against Paul, film producer John Cornell, and their accountant, Anthony Stewart. The AC suspected that millions of dollars from the proceeds of Crocodile Dundee and other films had been allegedly funneled into offshore tax havens, and the release of Hogan's financial documents was expected to play a crucial role in finalizing the tax office's case against them. On the 20th of August, 2010, Paul returned to Australia to attend his mother's funeral, a deeply personal moment that was overshadowed by his ongoing legal troubles. But as he arrived, the Australian Taxation Office, ATO, issued him a departure prohibition order, and it effectively barred him from leaving the country until his alleged tax debt was resolved. The ATO claimed that he owed taxes on a staggering 37.5 million Australian dollars of undeclared income. This did not last long, as just a few weeks later, on the 3rd of September, the ATO granted him permission to return to the US due to the negotiations between his lawyers and Australian tax officials. Throughout this challenging period, he vehemently declared his innocence, consistently denying any wrongdoing regarding his financial dealings. In November 2010, a significant development occurred when the ATO announced that it was dropping its criminal investigation into Paul and his business manager for tax evasion. This decision marked a turning point, allowing him to breathe a sigh of relief after years of scrutiny. Although he was free from all allegations, the fallout from the investigation had taken a toll on his career and reputation. In January 2011, Paul's lawyer revealed that he was suing the Australian government, stating that his earning potential and reputation had been decimated due to the lengthy investigation. In a dramatic display of frustration, Paul compared the ATO to the Taliban and referred to its staff in less than flattering terms, calling them horrible names. This fiery rhetoric underscored his anger and the profound impact the ordeal had on his life, both personally and professionally. In May 2012, another interesting development unfolded as it was announced that Paul, with the mediation of an ex-High Court judge, settled with the Commissioner of Taxation. They got to this agreement without an admission of wrongdoing, meaning he did not acknowledge any legal fault. Both parties agreed to keep the terms of the settlement secret, but a crucial consequence was that the departure prohibition order against him got revoked by the commissioner, giving him greater freedom. But it looked like he went from one trouble to another, as the legal battles were far from over. As of April 2013, Paul's financial advisor, Anthony Stewart, remained in a dispute with the Australian Tax Office, indicating ongoing complexities in his financial affairs. Paul made headlines in the media again in April 2013 due to a troubling issue involving 32.3 million Australian dollars tied up in a Swiss bank managed by the Geneva firm Strachan's. The funds had been placed in an offshore account with the intent of alleged tax avoidance, but by April 2013, Paul was unable to access the funds. In order to recover his money, he initiated a U.S. court action seeking 80 million Australian dollars in damages. However, this effort was not successful. He then aired out his suspicion that Philip Eglishaw, the principal of Strachan's and a former tax advisor, had absconded with his money. Following this confession, Paul's American legal representative, Skylar "Sky" Moore, filed relevant documents in a Californian court, seeking justice on behalf of his client. On the 18th of April, 2013, it was reported that Philip denied his accusations, setting the stage for yet another chapter in Paul's ongoing financial saga. In May 2017, Chris Jordan, the Commissioner of Taxation, stirred controversy by suggesting that, despite Hogan's claims of victory over the ATO in 2012, he had actually paid tens of millions of dollars to settle the matter. This statement reignited the public debate over Hogan's financial dealings and the nature of his settlement. In response, Paul firmly denied having made any payments to the ATO, asserting that he had upheld his end of the 2012 agreement. He further criticized Chris for allegedly breaching the confidentiality clause of their settlement, which was supposed to keep the specifics private. This exchange added another layer of complexity to Hogan's ongoing legal saga and heightened the tensions between him and the tax authorities, suggesting that the issues surrounding his finances were far from resolved. Having looked at Paul's challenges, let's go into Linda's life after the movie that made her popular. Why did she leave Hollywood? Where is she now? Did she fall in love again? Let's answer these questions and get into it quickly. Linda's life after Crocodile Dundee's era. Linda and Paul separated in 2013, and shortly after that, she boldly decided to step away from Hollywood entirely. Her final appearance on screen was back in 2001, when she did a reprise of her beloved character, Sue Charlton, for the last installment of the Crocodile Dundee series. Talking about her career, she shared her thoughts with the Los Angeles Times back in 1988, explaining how the success of Crocodile Dundee eventually led to her being repeatedly called for more roles by casting directors. She typically acknowledged that this recognition was a double-edged sword, as it was a curse as much as it was a blessing. According to her, after Crocodile Dundee, she turned down a lot of roles as most of them were just the girlfriend of some funny guy. Her journey through fame and her decision to step back from the spotlight reflect her quest for authenticity beyond the confines of Hollywood. In an interview with Scripps Howard News Service in 2001, Linda opened up to them about her personal decision to walk away from Hollywood and quit acting. She expressed her frustration, saying, "These straight-to-video schlocky films I was getting were giving me an ulcer, basically because I was the only one on the set that cared about anything." Linda talked about her struggles on set, where she often found herself questioning the script. "I'd say, well, this scene doesn't make sense." They would just reply, "Ah, so what? Just say the lines." In those moments, she made up her mind. This isn't fun anymore. This is not why I studied. It's not what I love. Along with the ticking of her biological clock, she decided to leave it all behind. Since she took a step away from the Hollywood limelight, she has happily embraced a new chapter in her life. Often, she speaks about her incredible travel adventures on social media, which is often accompanied by her longtime love and travel partner, Moulay. Their beautiful journeys together depict a life filled with joy and wonderful memories which offer a life far better than the pressures of her previous career. Caught between the demands of motherhood and what she described as living in Paul's shadow, Linda found herself steering away from acting after being typecast in Hollywood. According to a source, Linda loves acting, theater, and the arts, the insider shared with the Daily Mail. However, as she got deeply into acting, she felt increasingly frustrated with the drama of the industry. She started getting offers of pretty crappy roles, and as a result, she stopped liking the industry as much. Linda had once envisioned that her rising fame would lead her to extraordinary opportunities, but the reality was disappointing. The insider said she thought the roles and the rocket to superstardom would take her places she never even imagined. But the roles weren't there. She wasn't offered anything of substance. Since she left Hollywood, Linda has found a new kind of melody in her life by dividing her time between Los Angeles and Morocco, which was the emergence of her partner, Moulay. This latest development only improved her desire for a more fulfilling and balanced life, allowing her to explore her passions beyond the constraints of the film industry. Before this transformed into a romantic relationship, Linda and her partner Moulay were friends and business collaborators. About 10 years ago, they launched their Marrakesh-based company named Dream My Destiny, which offers a lot of tour packages for tourists and provides location scouting services for films. As she reflected on this venture in 2014, Linda shared how it gave her new ambitions after her divorce. She said, "Paul is very famous, and I lived in his shadow for a long time. I feel good now to be out on my own and doing my own things. She also praised Moulet's deep knowledge of Morocco, saying her lover knows Morocco like the back of his hands. She also added that her insights into what's currently trendy and what people desire, especially from a female perspective, enhance their business. They have created a dynamic partnership together, also combining their strengths to stay in tune with the pulse of Morocco, making Dream My Destiny a reflection of both their passions and expertise. Some years back, the two lovers took a significant step by buying a beautiful single-story home in Ojai, which featured 4 bedrooms and 2 baths for nearly $2 million. Ojai is seen as a safe place for artists and outdoor enthusiasts, which offers an abundance of hiking, biking, and horseback riding trails, making it a perfect retreat. However, this charming home is not Linda's only residence. After her divorce settlement, where she received a one-time payment of $6.25 million, she started embracing her entrepreneurial spirit by delving into real estate. As she got into it deeply, it appears that she has been busy secretly building a portfolio into becoming something of a property tycoon. This new venture enhanced her ability to invest wisely and create a life filled with opportunity and beauty. Linda began to make a splash in the real estate market, especially with her smart investments with the stunning Venice Beach area, an area which is often referred to as Silicon Beach, due to its appeal to tech CEOs and entrepreneurs. In a move that showcases her business acumen, she has acquired 3 properties in this vibrant locale, capitalizing on the soaring property values that have made Venice a coveted destination. Her savvy approach to real estate has made her popular and earned her the playful title of the Queen of Silicon Beach. One of her notable transactions involved selling a home for an impressive $1.9 million, which she used as a stepping stone to purchase a new property valued at $2 million that she is currently renting out. This keen eye for opportunity has not only bolstered her financial portfolio, but has also allowed her to create a lifestyle that reflects her independence and ambition. A neighbor shared insights with Daily Mail Australia in 2017, stating, "She has been really smart and made millions. She got a settlement from Paul, of course, and she's used it well." This comment highlights the transformation Linda has undergone since her split from Paul. The settlement was not merely a financial windfall, it became a catalyst for her reinvention and empowerment. "She's definitely her own woman now," the neighbor continued, pointing out how Linda has navigated the fluctuating real estate market with remarkable skill. Property prices have rocketed in Venice, and she's ridden the crest of a wave, no doubt about it. This reflects her success in real estate and her ability to adapt and thrive in a competitive environment. Living in Venice Beach, Linda is surrounded by a lively community that has a keen eye for innovation and creativity. The area is bustling with artists, tech innovators, and those who appreciate the outdoors, making it a perfect fit for someone like her, who values both culture and nature. With its picturesque canals, vibrant boardwalks, and stunning sunsets, Venice provides an inspiring backdrop for her new chapter. As she kept investing wisely and embracing her entrepreneurial spirit, Linda has crafted a narrative of resilience and independence. Her journey from Hollywood's spotlight to becoming a prominent figure in real estate exemplifies her determination to forge her path. As she grows her property portfolio, she remains a testament to the power of reinvention and the ability to thrive in the face of change. What do you think about the relationship between Linda and Paul? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. To enjoy more exciting videos, click the video on your screen. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when a new video drops.